For 30 years, people paid to watch me bury other men and, never once stopped to ask who was going to bury me. I mean, I built a character that couldn't die, couldn't feel, couldn't lose. And the whole time, the man underneath the hat was breaking piece by piece, and nobody knew. Tonight, I'm not here as the dead man. I'm here to tell you what he never could. I used to walk out to that ring, gong hits, smoke rolling in, and people saw a man who couldn't be hurt. That was the whole point of the character, But underneath all that gear, I mean, my body was falling apart, and it had been falling apart for years. Nobody in that building had any idea. There were nights I couldn't put weight on my own hip without somebody sticking a needle in it first. I'd walk to the ring with a limp, and then somehow, I don't know, something just clicks and you become the character again. But that limp, that was real. That was me, not him. It started way back, actually. Early in my career, I got paired up with a giant of a man, no real training, no skill, just size. And every single night was survival. Trying to figure out what he could even do out there without somebody getting legitimately hurt. I look back now and I think that stretch alone took years off whatever I had left in this body, and it kept happening. I mean, right when I'd get some momentum, right when a title run should have had some legs to it, something would tear, a shoulder, an arm, and I'd have to walk away right when it mattered most. You spend your whole career chasing one more chapter, one more run at the top, and then your own body it closes the door on you. Nobody sees that part. They just see the loss and move on. But the moment that really shook me, that was much later. Toward the end, I got in there with a man about my own age. And I mean, it should have been simple. It wasn't. Things went wrong fast, one after another. And for a few minutes out there, I genuinely did not know if either one of us was walking out the same way we walked in. And afterward, God, I remember just sitting there and it hit me, I'm like, maybe it's time. Maybe you're out of gas. You got a wife, you got kids at home. Am I risking something permanent here just to prove I still belong out there? All of that comes flooding into your head at once. The pain in your back, the pain in your hip, and this voice going, is this even worth it anymore? But I mean, here's the thing. Nobody understood about me. It was never really about what my body could still do. It was about what I could live with. I could not go out there and just, hit one move and leave. Do the pose, collect the check. That was never going to be enough for me. My biggest fear, honestly, my real fear, was becoming some parody of myself, some tired old imitation wheeled out for one more payday. So I kept going. Not because the body said yes, the body said no, over and over for years. I kept going because some other part of me, I don't know, pride, maybe stubbornness, refused to let that be the ending. I was either going to walk out of this business with something that still meant something, or I was going to go out on my shield trying. That was the deal I made with myself. Nobody else ever knew the terms of it. Just me and a body that was quietly falling apart the whole time. Everybody thought I was unbreakable. I walked into that building that year fully convinced, not hoping, not wishing, convinced. 20-something years in this business. And at that one event, on that one stage, I simply did not lose. That was the deal I had with myself and with everybody watching. Going in, I felt good. I felt strong. I thought this is just another night at the office. And then I don't even know how to explain what happened next, because honestly, I don't remember it. Somewhere in the first few minutes of that match, I took a shot and I got concussed, just like that. And from that point on, I mean, I was there my body was out there performing, but I wasn't not really. I've watched it back since. I can see myself moving different, slower, kind of lethargic. And I know looking at it, that's the moment something broke, but I can't point to it. I can't say right there, that's it. It's just gone. My last real memory of that whole day is early afternoon. I was talking with my wife backstage, just a normal conversation. And after that, nothing until I woke up in a hospital. Think about that for a second. The most consequential night of my career, and I have to take other people's word for what happened in it. And when it was over, the reaction, it was like the whole world stopped. That streak, that unbeaten run at the biggest stage we have, it was the one thing people believed could never end. It wasn't supposed to be breakable. And it ended, and I wasn't even fully present for my own ending. I don't blame the guy across the ring from me for it, by the way. I never did. That was a business decision made above both of us. And, that's just how this industry works sometimes. You don't always get to pick the chapter your story lands on. But I'll tell you what really got me. It wasn't even that night. It was the year after. I came back to compete again, and I remember being wound up so tight, so uncertain of myself, like I was a rookie again, just awful. All that confidence I built over 2 decades, it didn't just walk out the door with the loss. It walked out with the injury I couldn't even remember getting. That's the part that stays with you. Because up until then, I think some part of me and some part of everybody watching genuinely believed the character was real, that the dead man really couldn't be put down. And that night, lying in a hospital bed with pieces of the evening missing from my own memory, that's when it hit me. I wasn't unbreakable. I never had been. I'd just been lucky enough for a long, long time that nobody had proven it yet. Everybody watched me be this unbreakable thing in the ring, this force that never bled, never cracked. And the whole time at home, I was breaking something a lot more important. That's the part of this I find hardest to say out loud, even now. Building this character, it takes everything. It really does. And I gave it everything, which means somewhere along the way, my marriage got whatever was left over. My kids got whatever was left over. And looking back, honestly, I had no business being married while I was trying to build this legacy. That's just the truth of it. I wasn't good enough back then to hold both things together at once. My older kids, they paid for that. They paid a real price for me becoming what I became. I missed so much. Birthdays, just regular days, the small stuff that actually adds up to a childhood. You don't get those back. You can apologize, you can try to explain the sacrifice, but it doesn't undo the years. I've made my peace with a lot of things in this business, but that one still sits with me. And then God, then there's Tim. I was out at the location for what was going to be one of the most important pieces of work I'd ever done, shooting up until deep into the night, getting ready for the next day. And on the way back, my phone rings. It's my niece. And she tells me her father, my brother, just had a heart attack. At first, I actually thought he was okay. I asked her, which hospital did they take him to? And she just goes quiet for a second. And then she says, he didn't make it. I don't really have the words for that moment. You're standing there and your whole world just kind of drops out from under you. And now I've got to call my other brothers one by one and then call my mother and tell her she's lost a son. In the middle of all this massive production, everything hectic, everything supposedly perfect. And I've got to go be the one delivering that news. And the next day, this is the part that still doesn't feel real to me. The next day I had to go back to work. Filming resumed. And the whole thing was set in a graveyard. Tombstones everywhere. Coffins everywhere. everything, every single detail around me centered on burying somebody. And my brother had just been buried, not literally yet, but, freshly gone. And there I am walking through a set built entirely around death, trying to do my job. It was hard. I mean, it was really hard to show up the next day with that loss, that fresh, and then be surrounded by graves and caskets. Like, it was just set dressing. But I'll tell you what it did teach me. It taught me how important it actually is to just be present with the people you love, because you truly never know when the phone's going to ring, and you never know which conversation is going to be the last one you get to have. I got a second chance at this later on, a chance to really be a husband, really be a father again in a way I wasn't the first time around. And I don't take that lightly, but I won't sit here and pretend the first cost wasn't real. It was. And some of it, honestly, you just carry it. There's no match, no streak, no championship that makes up for the time you don't get back with your own family. There's one more person I need to talk about before I close this out, because he was there for almost the entire ride. My manager, honestly, my friend, the man behind that urn, and losing him, that hit different than anything else I've talked about tonight. He passed suddenly, a heart attack, no warning, right before one of the biggest shows of the year. And I remember just, standing there trying to process it, because this was a guy who'd been by my side through, almost every chapter of this whole thing. On screen, off screen, all of it. And then the company came to me with an idea to weave what had actually happened, his actual passing, into the storyline, into the show. And I'll be honest with you, at first I didn't like it. It felt wrong. It felt like we were using something sacred for a TV angle, My gut reaction was, no, we don't touch this. But the more I sat with it, the more I started to see it different. This was a man who lived for this business, breathed it, and somebody close to him said something to me that stuck, that this wasn't disrespect. This was actually the biggest tribute we could give him, building an entire piece of WrestleMania around his memory, letting him still matter one more time in the only language he and I ever really spoke to each other in. So we did it. And it was strange performing something like that so soon after actually losing him. But somewhere in there, I found peace with it, because, he wasn't just a character to me. He helped make the whole legacy possible. He was there before almost anybody else believed in what I could become. And that loss, in a strange way, it started preparing me for an ending of my own. 30 years, almost to the exact day after I first walked into this business, I found myself back at the very same event where it all began. Empty arena, no crowd, just me and a ring and 30 years sitting right there in my chest. I remember putting that hat on, that coat, for what I knew was the last time. And it wasn't until that moment, honestly, that the decision became real to me. I'd made peace with it in my head already. But putting it on, that was different. That was tough. I walked out there and I made that same slow walk I'd made 1,000 times before. And I stood in that ring and I thought about every single person I'd ever laid to rest in that ring, in that character, over 3 decades. And I realized it was time to lay one more thing to rest: myself. Or, the version of myself that everybody thought couldn't die. And then this is the part that still gets me. There was this moment where it felt like he was right there with me again. My old friend, like he'd come back just for a second to hand something off one last time. I don't know how else to describe it, except it felt complete. Like the whole story had finally closed its own loop. I stood there And I said the only thing that felt true, that after 30 long years of making that walk, of burying people, of building something nobody thought a man could actually carry for that long, my time had come. Time to let the Undertaker finally rest in peace. And I mean that in every sense of it, not just the character. The pain I carried for years without telling anybody. The nights I didn't think I'd walk out of, the people I loved and didn't give enough time to, the people I lost, sometimes right in the middle of the biggest moments of my life, I built something that the world believed was unbreakable. And the truth is, it was breaking the entire time. I just never let anybody see it until now. So if you're asking me what it cost to become the dead man, I mean, now you know. Now, finally, you know it all. And so do I.